Will you watch it if I go like this?
Scammed by Sydney Grace.
Please. Is that what people have to do these days to get people to watch your videos? I'm not doing it, okay? I'm not doing it. Just waiting for the redness in my eyes to go down. We could be here all night. What's going on YouTube? I am HotMessNess, MUA, otherwise known as Vanessa, and today we are going to be talking about this. Bam! The Autumn's Rain palette by Sydney Grace. This is Sydney Grace's very first palette. It is awesome. I am a longtime fan of Sydney Grace. I will throw the playlist up in the cards for you guys if you are interested. But Sydney Grace had announced that they were coming out with a palette. They usually do singles, they do blushes, they do all of those kind of things, but they've never made like a standalone palette. So if you weren't somebody that had a Z palette and collected singles, this kind of thing might be right up your alley. This retails, I believe it's $52, and you're getting 27 grams of product, 0.95 ounces. And the palette looks like this. Isn't she pretty? It came in this box with some information. On the back it does say that it has an 18-month shelf life, some ingredients if you were so inclined. This bad boy came up on order on Black Friday. It was not part of their sale, but they released it that day. A little bit of backstory: at that same exact time, I don't even know how they managed to get these up on Black Friday, but during that same exact time were those terrible fires in Northern California, and the Sydney Grace, all of it is located right in the midst of that town in Paradise, California.
Oh, we just left pleasure. Paradise. For paradise.
Not whatever Trump said. It's called Paradise. When they announced that they were going to be doing this palette, they also announced that 25% of the proceeds, I'm sure that there's a difference. Information down below, okay? It's 11 o'clock at night. Will be going for this palette, and that will be for a period of time. I don't know if it's until January or what, but that will be left down below. So if you purchase this, know that you're putting money also into something good, because those fires were devastating. So Sydney Grace was nice enough to send me this. I'm not technically on Sydney Grace's PR. I don't have a link or a code for you guys to use their products. There are some other YouTubers out there that are much bigger than me that do have codes that save a percentage, but I don't believe that they're affiliate links. I don't think that they make any money off of them. It might be some kind of tracking. I'm not really sure. I don't have that, but I will leave some people that do have it down below. I know, I believe it's Mel Thompson, used to be known as Puffin's wife, Ripley from Ripley Official, and then I also believe Beauty Cult, Angela Mary Tanner and ColourPop Cult all have these codes. So I will leave those down below for you guys, and you know, if you decide to do a purchase in the future, you can use one of those for 15% off. The reason why she sent me this palette when I'm not technically on PR is because she's really nice. Honestly, that's really what it is. I make a lot of videos about Sydney Grace because I love the quality, and she sent me a palette. It's sweet, but that doesn't mean that I'll be getting, you know, future releases from them. You know, it is what it is. They sent this to me, so it's very nice. But that doesn't change anything as far as how I feel about the product itself. So in the future, later on this week or early this weekend or next week, there will be a video with 2 looks, 1 palette from this. I filmed one, and then I filmed this one, and then I lost the footage. My phone just died. It decided that it was not going to hold space. I had to delete. It's a story. Anyway, I'll either try to recreate this one or I'll put up a new one but I have used all the colors in the palette and I can honestly share my thoughts with you. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So I've showed you the palette. It's just a standard cardboard packaging. It's got a mirror. The mirror's okay. You know, it's very simple in its form. It kind of reminds me of like a ColourPop palette, if you will. I did notice that on one of her posts that I believe they sold out and then they restocked. And they said when they restock, they're gonna be sending the palette and the shadows in sleeves to the customers. I don't know if there was some breakage for people. I obviously didn't have that problem, but that's how people will be receiving them. What? You ready for? No, hungry. You already had dinner. Do you want banana now? Okay. Hold on. I'll be right back. So for future orders, I do believe that people will get the palette and they will get the eyeshadow singles in their regular sleeves that you usually get them in, and then you can insert them yourself. But I obviously did not have any problems with it. The palette is very standard. That's not, to me, it wasn't a selling point. I have bought all my Sydney Grace in single form with the exception of her little 5-pan palettes, but I believe that this is definitely a selling point for people that wouldn't take the jump into singles or bundles. Maybe they don't have Z palettes. This is a good way to start. So we're gonna go through, I'm gonna swatch the colors for you and just share my thoughts. And then I'm gonna show you some of the shades next to last year's fall bundle. So you can see, you know, where the theme went here. Because there's, you know, fall, autumn, we're going somewhere. Your very first shade is Queen of the North. It is a banana kind of shade, but it is so pigmented that even if you have darker skin, you could use this. I used this on top of the Supreme Harvest shade and it almost made kind of a pinky tone, so you can use it with other colors, not only as a blender, but also to lighten shades. And it didn't muddy it up, it just made it a new color. So I appreciated that. So that is Queen of the North. And there's Queen of the North. The next one is the pink shade in the palette. It is called Palace. And there's Palace. The very next shade is called Supreme Harvest. It is a very rich orange shade. I have to yell over these animals, I'm telling you. It's not kids, it's animals. So there is Supreme Harvest. The next shade is called Nature's Crown. It is a, in the pan it looks brown, but then on your finger it's like that browny yellow shade. It's almost like a sunflower, like the front of the sunflower, how it starts to turn that burnt-ish kind of color. Well, you'll see. Obviously, I don't explain shade undertones very well, but if you do it lightly or blend it out, it can become something different, and I do like that. The next shade in the palette is called Golden Wheat. It's a beautiful brown. And there's Golden Wheat. I hate when I do swatches like this. This is why I take picture swatches. Okay, now on to some shimmers. The very first one right here is Amber Jewels. We'll just go this way. It doesn't have to be pretty. And then the next one is Magnificent Chestnut. I have this at the beginning of my eye, right in here. That is Magnificent Chestnut. The next one is Golden Scepter. I right now have that on the center of my lid. And that was a weak pinky swatch, but nonetheless. This one is Wondrous Night. It's like a beautiful kind of taupey shade. Oh, wow. I used that on my lid for one of my first looks with the palette. The next one is a matte shade. So now I'm wondering, you can pop these bad boys out. I wonder if you just take a magnet or something. Anyway, Majestic Breeze. And it's a green. We'll just pop her right here. Running out of arm space. Just move on to the other arm. Why not? Some of my favorite colors over here are the purples. We've got Countess right here. Countess. And there's Countess. The next one is Brilliant Realm. Brilliant Realm. And it's like a dark purple. And then you've got Sovereign Rain, which is this beautiful shimmery purple. I mean, hello, a look. And then you have Fallen Splendor. Their pressed pigment formula for Fallen Splendor. This is more of that wet. And with my finger, you can pick up so much. So that's Fallen Splendor. And the last shade in the palette is this beautiful blue called Moonlit Kingdom. As I messy up the palette. And there is Moonlit Kingdom. Within this palette, you have some beautiful mattes that blend, and they're so pigmented that so many different skin tones can use this. When I look at this, I don't see a neutral palette because they can build. I mean, yeah, you've got neutral shades, but there's so much you can do with this that take it above and beyond. It's like a rich, deep, neutral palette, but not. You've got like dark rainbow magic going on here. And I feel like you could mix it with so many other things if you just didn't want to stick with this. This is a great place to start. And if you're, more afraid, you could start lightly with palettes and slowly work into other things. But every look that I created would start off light, and then before you know it, I ended up with all kinds of different smoky eyes with all of these. I think it's beautiful quality. As far as like the actual palette itself, it's a nice option to have all of the shades in one place, but to me it would have been just as good to have in a bundle. Like, this doesn't make or break me, but I definitely understand the selling point behind putting it in a palette, and I would definitely be all about them doing more. I believe you can depot these and put them in with your singles, but I kind of want to keep them together as I clean it off, because it's like, oh, stay with your babies, because you're the first. You're the first palette for Sydney Grace. I don't know. I'm always absolutely floored by the quality of their shadows, that they can be pigmented, blendable, pigmented enough to be on various skin tones, dark skin tones, light skin tones, and then the shimmers are just crazy. And that the fact that she has different kinds, you've got like her pressed pigment shimmer formula, then you've got some nice regular shimmer formula. I mean, they're just awesome. So I want to show you guys last year's bundle to show you that there is a difference. So if you are a collector of Sydney Grace, you have a lot of their collections like I do, then you could look at these and be like, oh, kind of a similar color story. This top row right here and some of the ones in the center are last year's fall bundle. I guess I could go like this. I keep having this fear that I'm gonna drop them. Drop the babies, don't drop them. Last year's fall bundle, this year's fall palette, if you will. So I'm gonna show you guys some of the shades that look similar to show you the differences, if there is some or not. Let's take the green Fall Splendor that's in the palette, and then last year's fall bundle, there was a green called Fallen. So here's last year's and then this year's. You can see they're two completely different kinds of green. One's more muted, one is definitely high shine, high pigment. So palette and last year. The palette you have Majestic Breeze, and then last year you had Woodland. And Woodland is on the bottom. See, Woodland is more of the lighter, almost blue-green, and the one on top is like the deeper, smokier green. Haystack. Haystack last year. And then we've got Nature's Crown. So Haystack is more of the yellow tone, and Nature's Crown is more of a browny, nude kind of mustard tone. just different. The only shade that I find that's a little similar is Supreme Harvest and the Original Harvest. So here's the Original Harvest, and Supreme Harvest is right underneath. It might be a little more orange, and this one might be a little more red, but they are very similar. But swatching any of the other colors, I mean, in my arm, I can see the difference. On the eye, I don't know that you would be able to, but none of the other colors are the same. I swatched the purples, the pinky shades, the shimmers, and they're all very different. And when I actually put them together, I feel like this is more warm tone and this is more cool tone. This was what was on trend last year. This is what's on trend this year. But you could play with them together. You could do warm and cool. There's no rules to that. So just wanted to share that with you guys. I will throw the swatches right over here. So this is Autumn's Reign, a 15 pan eyeshadow palette. There are 8 mattes, 7 shimmers. These are full size and they're beautiful. You've got 28 grams of product, and here we go. We've got the shades Queen of the North, Palace, Supreme Harvest, Nature's Crown, Golden Wheat, Amber Jewels, Magnificent Chestnut, Golden Scepter, Wondrous Night, and Majestic Breeze. And here's some up-close swatches. A little bit of shifting for you so you can see how beautiful those shimmers are. The bottom row, which is my favorite, is Countess, Brilliant Realm, Sovereign Reign, Fallen Splendor, and Moonlit Kingdom. They are just stunning. So all up to December 31st, 25% of the proceeds will go to the victims of the campfire in Paradise, California. These shadows would usually cost $5 a piece, which would bring it to $75. You're saving $23 by purchasing in the palette. Press pigment eyeshadows usually cost $6, so you're actually saving more than $23. All right, guys, that is my review of the Sydney Grace new palette, Autumn's Reign. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, like this shade, delicious. You can do some really pretty purple looks. You can go neutral. I literally have on my eyes right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades. That's right here. And the other day I did boom, 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 boom. With that in the center, you could do all green and just buff it out with the cream. It's just, this is an imaginative palette while not being so crazy that you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Another thing that I love about Sydney Grace is they always leave these really cool swatch ideas on their page. So go peep that out. They'll show like 3 or 4 swatches and literally tell you crease, outer V, lid. And you're like, oh, genius. But you know, if you were thinking about getting Autumn's Reign and you just weren't sure, this for me would be absolutely, it's so pretty and I love it. And I'm glad that it is in my hands. I'm always so excited for whatever Sydney Grace comes out with, covered in Sydney Grace. But it's just one of those brands that always just keeps it coming. And especially in lieu of such craziness, like your whole town's on fire and yet you still manage to have a Black Friday sale and release palettes, that blows my mind. If you do go pick out Autumn's Reign, or you pick out anything from Sydney Grace's website, when you do your little checkout, you know, you can leave a comment. Let them know HotMess sent you. You can put in whoever's coupon code you want, but let them know you came from me. Because it's just nice sometimes. They'll go, oh yeah, we watched one of her videos once. But honestly, sometimes that's how brands know, you know, that you're seeing some of their stuff from us, and it's just a good way to do full circle, and I do appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Know that I will have the looks with this palette coming very, very soon. Very soon. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah. Bye. Don't forget, you can subscribe down here, and for more videos, click over here. possibly there. There's places to click. Click them. Click them all.